Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey here, once again with another video on Arrow Season 5. Now this entire season, and I guess even well before the season started, as we were told pretty early on who the villain of the season was, we were led to believe that the masked, hood-wearing, arrow-firing Prometheus would be the big bad villain for this season of Arrow, obviously that being Arrow Season 5. Now this could obviously, like 100%, still be the case, and certain things may have been done just to slightly mislead us, or make us second guess everything we thought we knew was going on up until this point. But certain events and revelations that have happened recently on Arrow, to be specific, episode 16, which was otherwise entitled Checkmate, have not only myself, but as I have been able to see from the comment section, it also has a decent amount of you guys second guessing who the actual villain is for this season of Arrow. Is it Prometheus, the one who we have been led to believe was the villain this entire season up until this point, and also the one that producers and cast members have said is the villain? Or is it actually Talia Al Ghul, a mentor of Oliver's in the past who is now on Oliver's case following actions of his following their last meetings in Russia? So right at the beginning of the last episode, as I said, that being episode 16, we saw Ollie trek to meet the person he had only known as Talia when he was with her in Russia, as he knew that she had taught Prometheus at one point as he used a jumping flip technique thing which Ollie himself had learnt from Talia. So early on this season, we were sort of in the same mind frame as Ollie, just assuming that it was a coincidence. They were both trained by the same woman, and it may work as an advantage to Ollie as he could get valuable information off someone he knew. Unfortunately for Ollie, it gets revealed to him the information that us, the audience, already knew, and that is of course that Talia's last name is actually Al Ghul. She is the daughter of Ra's Al Ghul, who Oliver obviously killed almost 2 years ago, and that was around the same time that Prometheus showed up at Talia's door. The mutual dislike of Ollie between Prometheus and Talia, as well as the similarities with their reasons for that dislike, was never going to be a good combination for Ollie, now was it? Now you might be wondering why I think Talia Al Ghul might in fact be the real big bad for this season, rather than the person we were led to believe it was, that being Prometheus. Well, I think it is pretty clear that Talia has some sort of control over Prometheus for the most part. She is his mentor, if you want to call it that. Talia was the one who taught Prometheus all he knows, and you did sort of get a hint at Talia being the one that Prometheus looks up to after she reveals who he actually is straight up to Ollie at the beginning of last episode. Even though Prometheus didn't seem to mind that Talia told Ollie who he was, actually he seemed to like it, because it then allowed him to play his mind games throughout the remainder of the episode to everyone on Team Arrow. But I really don't think Talia would have done that if she didn't have some form of control over Prometheus. We then had the two parts at the end of the episode, the first one being when Talia tranquilizes Ollie before he can harm Prometheus anymore. Talia would need Prometheus to complete her objective. You can't win a game of chess without your pawns. And the second part is right at the end of the episode, leading on to this week's episode, when Talia essentially gives Prometheus an order when Ollie is chained up, just making sure that he doesn't go light on the punishment to Ollie, which is another big sign that she is in fact in control. There is also one other thing connecting Prometheus and Talia, and that is a scene from earlier this season that we will watch now.
What do you know that I don't?
The killer calls himself Prometheus.
And why would this Prometheus target an average housewife? Another body just dropped. Another throwing star murder.
But wait, how could Prometheus have committed another murder if he was at another crime scene at the time? Well, I think this shows that Talia was doing some of the work just so Prometheus could keep a somewhat low profile and just keep hidden. Obviously, we don't know how much she could have done throughout this period when Prometheus was doing all these murders. It might have only been that one kill that is notified about in the clip, but that is most likely the earliest piece of evidence that clearly shows that Prometheus was working with someone, and I think it's pretty clear that it was Talia Al Ghul. Now, I am very intrigued to see how all of this does play out in the last handful of episodes for this season, as I really don't know what's essentially going to happen. Talia could kill Prometheus. Prometheus could kill Talia as in like an overruling type of play. Anything could really happen. Both of them could just randomly die. Who knows what's going to happen? It's difficult when you have two very powerful people. We know Prometheus is really good at what he's doing, and we know Talia is really good at what she's doing. So when you have two of them, they might have conflict of interest and just insanity could ensue between them two. I don't know, it's going to be interesting. A lot of people have been saying that it'd be cool if Nyssa came back onto the show to face her sister. Like it could be like Ollie and Nyssa versus Prometheus and Talia, which I think would be a pretty cool fight to watch now that I think about it. But it is pretty hard to pick out at this moment what the hell is going to happen, but I am quite excited to see how it all unfolds. Now, there is obviously one big thing about this Talia Al Ghul thing working with Prometheus that has been brought up a lot. I did mention it in my review, I think it was. It might have been actually, I think it was my trailer breakdown for the next episode. And that is the comparisons between The Dark Knight Rises and what's happening on Arrow at the moment. Now, there's massive similarities. There's massive similarities, obviously. But I think Arrow could pull it off better because, personally, I don't think The Dark Knight Rises is the best movie. I think it's definitely the weakest of those three Christopher Nolan movies. I love Batman Begins and I love The Dark Knight. But The Dark Knight Rises is really messy. There's a lot of weird stuff in that movie, and I don't think it plays out that well. It's still a decent movie, but it's not that great. Like, I think you can love it if you want to, but personally, I didn't like that movie that much. But I think Arrow could pull it off better because I think Prometheus is a much more interesting villain than Bane, and I think Talia is pretty interesting. Probably the same amount of interest that I have to the Dark Knight Rises version. I think they're probably the same. So, because Prometheus is better than Bane, I think this could actually work out better on Arrow, especially when they have longer to stretch it out and actually make it work better. So even though it's basically the same thing, Arrow could actually do it better, which I hope they do. But thanks for watching, guys. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to leave a like on it. Let me know in the comment section below, what do you think of all of this? Do you think that Arrow will pull off the Dark Knight Rises storyline better than the actual movie did? Because I think they will. But yeah, let me know what you think of all of that in the comment section down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. I'll catch you later, guys, and goodbye.